Hey everyone, welcome back to my retrofit series of videos for my 2018 VW Golf R. This is a Mark 7.5 retrofit edition. And so what we're going to be doing in these videos, if you watched my original review of my car when I first got it, you'll know there were a couple small things that were sort of annoying me about it, the way it did certain things. And so we are going to sort of be correcting those things in these retrofit videos. So this video is going to be on the ability to actually roll the windows up and down with the key fob. So Volkswagen has what they call comfort open and close on their cars, but it's not quite the comfort open and close that I was expecting. So when the windows are all open, like you can see all four windows are open right now on the car, what they consider comfort close is that you have to actually go up to the door handle on the car and hold your finger on the door handle spot where you normally would be to lock the car. And if you hold it there, then what will happen is the car will roll up all the windows. So if I just put my finger here and just hold it, you can see that all the windows are rolling up on the car. So all four windows will roll up. So that's what they call comfort close. Comfort open is when you're actually inside the car. So you actually have to be inside the car, and when you turn the ignition off, if you hold down the driver's side window button, it will do the opposite and open all four windows. So that's what they consider comfort open. However, if I use my key fob here and I actually just hold down the unlock button on it, I'm holding it down, right? It unlocks the car, but it doesn't open the windows. Like, the windows don't roll down. And the same thing, like if I had all the windows rolled down and I would hold the lock button on the key fob, it wouldn't roll them all up. I actually have to come out to the car and actually hold my finger on the handle to do that. So that's not what I really consider comfort open and close, because the reason I want it with the key fob is because when, like, say I am in the house getting ready to go out and it's a really hot day out and I want to just open up all the windows to vent the car out before I get into it. From inside the house, if I'd like to be able to just hold down the unlock button to unlock the car and open up all the windows so that when I get out there, the car will be cooled down a little bit. And then the reverse of that is, suppose I had come home from being out, the car's in the driveway, I have the windows open, and it starts to rain a little bit or something, and I want to quickly close all the windows. I can quickly just hold down the key fob and close all the windows without having to go outside. The way they have it designed, I'd have to go outside in the rain and stand there in the rain holding my finger on the door handle to close all the windows, which to me is kind of dumb. Or I'd have to get in the car, so I'd have to open up the car door, get in it, close the door, and then use the buttons on the inside the car one at a time to close all the windows. So what we want to do is reprogram the car so that I can use the key fob to just open and close the windows by holding down the either lock or unlock button. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to code the car. So if you're not familiar with coding a car basically means that you're going to hook a device up to the car, and you're going to change the programming in one of the modules that doing the control for whatever you're trying to change, and flip the settings so that it does what you want it to do. So there's a couple different tools out there that you can use to code the car. I'm going to be using one called OBD11, but there's also one called BAGCOM or BCDS, which is kind of the main tool that people have used with Volkswagens and Audis for years. That tool requires that you know exactly how to code the car. It has a whole bunch of menus that you have to go through. It's a little bit more complicated to use. The OBD11 tool has a much better user interface, in my opinion, just easier to use, and it has a whole bunch of features in it. Besides just coding, you can use it for diagnostics, clearing codes, running tests, and all kinds of things like that. But it also has an easier graphical user interface to make changes for coding the car. In addition to that, it has this thing called apps, which are one-touch apps that you can use to code certain settings in a car. So popular settings that people always want, they've created an app inside the program so that you can just do a one-touch and it'll make all the changes for you without having to go into the different screens to change the settings. So, but those do cost what they call credits, so you do have to have credits in order to use those one-touch apps, but you don't need to use those. You can actually code it manually, which is what we're going to do, and I'm going to tell you why we want to code it manually as opposed to using the one-touch apps. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first thing we got to do is go get our tool, and I'll show you how you get the tool, plug it into the car, and get that all set up. Okay, so whatever tool you use, you're basically going to change the same settings, but the first thing you're going to need is your tool. So like I said, I was using OBD11, which is this little tool that you can buy. Now it comes in a standard and a pro version. I got the pro version, and the pro version just gives you some extra stuff that you can do with it, and it also allows you to do long coding when you have that version. It still includes all the things like the apps and everything, but it just gives some extra features, and it's only $20 more, so there's really no reason not to get the pro version if you're going to do anything at all with this tool. So it's just a little plug-in module that plugs into the OBD2 port on your car. So the diagnostic port that pretty much the dealership uses, if you take your car in for emission testing, all those different things, they all plug into that same port. So you're going to need that. And then on top of that, you're going to need some kind of a device, whether it's a tablet or a phone, to download the OBD11 app. And it has to be an Android device, unfortunately. This is not available for iOS. So I just got an old unused Android device that you don't have to have a cellular plan or anything like that. It just has to have Wi-Fi connected is all you need. So, and then I downloaded the OBD11 app, and that's all you need as far as the tools go. So this will plug into the car, and this will connect through Bluetooth to the phone here, which will connect to the app and let me connect to the car. And then we will go into the appropriate area to actually change the coding to accomplish what we need to do. Now, if you're not going to use the apps on the device, so actually let me just quick show you that. So I'm going to go to the home page here, and then if you go to the garage, you'll see your car will be in here. So you put your VIN in so it knows what kind of car you have, and then when you pick your car, you'll have all these different choices. And if you go into apps, these are all the sort of predefined apps in the system if you want to change something. So like for instance, if I scroll down here and I want to do like high beam memory, you can see here all it's going to do is remember the position of the high beam assistant after ignition is on or off, which actually is something I am going to do. But if you use this app, basically you can just say on or off in the app, and then what will happen is it will make all the appropriate changes in the particular module that houses these settings, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to actually go into the module and change them manually yourself. So if you don't know what the settings are to change, it's a nice convenient tool. The only thing about the apps is, first of all, there's only so many of them that you have inside the system. So it's not like you can do every single thing. So there's only a limited list of the apps. They do have a lot, but there's only a limited list in here of what you can do. And then on top of that, they do cost those things I was talking about earlier, which are credits. So you can see like this is 10 credits, 10 credits, and most of them are pretty small credits. It's not a big deal. But some of them, depending on how complicated the coding is, like you can see this first one here, traffic sign recognition is 100 credits. So you either have to save up credits by doing that free credit thing that I referred to earlier, or you can purchase credits, which are very cheap. So if I go back to the main page here, go to my wallet, go to credits. If I wanted, say, 500 credits, right? 500 credits, if I look at this, is $32.99. So I mean, that's really not that much money for 500 credits, which would last you pretty much for everything you probably want to do, since the most expensive one on here is 100. And you would only need another 100 credits if you wanted to turn it off after you turned it back on. So if you're just turning it on and that's going to be it, then that's it, 100 credits. And so actually, if you went back here, you could go back to, you know, you can see you can purchase in quantities of 10, 100, or 500. So if you went to 100 credits, it's only $13 basically for 12 credits. That would give you the 100 for that one thing you wanted to do, and the other ones, which are only 10 credits, you could probably just do the free credits every day, which is you can get 6 free credits every day by watching ads. Okay, so if you wanted to use the apps, you can. The thing about using the apps is that, one, you're trusting that the app is going to make all the changes correctly. So remember, the app is programmed by somebody from OBD11 that makes that app. So if it makes a mistake or something doesn't go right, then of course you're going to have to turn it back off, and hopefully it makes the changes correctly. If you manually make the changes yourself, then it's, you know, much safer and easier because you know exactly what you're changing and you can just change it right back if it's causing some kind of issue. So I prefer the manual changes so I know what's exactly being changed and there's no question about it. Now, it does have in the app itself a history button here, which basically will show you the history of changes. So it'll show you the settings before and after. So you do have that, but I still prefer to be making the changes myself and know what I want to change. Now, having said that, in order to do that, you have to know what settings to actually change, and depending what kind of like thing that you're trying to accomplish, there could be multiple modules that you have to make changes in. It's not always as simple as just one single module. So you have to do your research first, because this is obviously not published by Volkswagen. They're not going to give everybody all this information. This is all on the forums and the subculture to find out all this information to make these types of changes in the module. But you know, remember, in the module itself, you're basically changing hexadecimal codes to a different value so that it does something different than what it was originally set for. So these cars are made, you know, obviously shipped across all parts of the world. So different parts of the world have different laws. And so we have a lot of antiquated laws in the United States that, you know, make car manufacturers disable things, which they really shouldn't have to. So we're gonna, you know, remedy those little annoyances and change the settings so that we can get what we want out of the car. So our first change that we are going to make is the one where we're able to roll the windows up and down with the key fob. So first thing we got to do is connect the device to the car and get it connected to the app, and then we'll go into the appropriate area and make the adaptation to make those changes. Now, my car already comes with a bunch of the changes that I know I need to make in here. So what I'm going to do is when I go through the menus, I'm going to verify that that one piece is already active, which I'm suspecting that some of them are. So there are 5 settings to make this happen, and I believe that 3 of those settings are already active in my car, and I just have to activate 2 more, and that will accomplish what I need to have happen. But we'll plug it in and we'll see what happens. So let's go try it. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is on our car here, if you look underneath here, you can see we plugged in our OBD11 module into our port, into our OBD port, or OBD2 port. And then what we're going to do is on the app itself here, so let me get this angled correctly. Okay, we are going to connect it to the car. So you just go to your Bluetooth settings, connect it. It'll ask for a pin. You type in 1234, and it'll connect to your Bluetooth settings. Okay, so then we're going to go into the main home screen right here, and there'll be a connect button here. I've already connected. Right now it just says scan. So you'll connect it to the car. So now I'm connected to the car with the app. So this little blue button right here, you can click, and then it's going to show you all the control units in the car listed down the screen. So what you need to know is which control unit you're going to make your changes in. Now, what I do just to make it easier when I'm doing this is I make a printout here of exactly what I'm going to change. So on this printout here, I basically have the control unit I'm going to be going into, or control units, and then what the settings are that I'm changing and what the setting is going to be. So in this particular case, you can see, hopefully you can see it in the video, but I'm going to be going into central electronics module here, and then at security access adaptation, the channel is going to be access control 2, and then what's going to happen is I'm going to change these 5 settings, and what I'm expecting is that the first 2 settings are already set. The next 2 are not set, which is the piece that I'm going to add to make the Windows control from the key fob, and the third piece I expect, and the last piece there I expect to be set also, because I already have the menu option in the infotainment system for comfort open and close to turn it on and off, and the first 2 are just comfort open and close, which I'm guessing is what I showed you in my video earlier with holding your hand on the handle, etc. But the 2 that I'm expecting to be inactive are the ones called Funk Comfort Schließen and Offen, which basically mean radio comfort close and open. And radio would, to me, make sense that that would mean the key fob, because the key fob is a radio device that's connecting with the car to open and close. So that's what I'm expecting. I won't know until we get in there and we see what happens. But what I do is I just print it out on a sheet so I know exactly the steps that I'm taking, and then I can always reverse those if necessary. So we're going to go into the app here. And so here's the app. They're all labeled, so we're going to go down to Central Electrics. It's going to load the data. Okay, so now we have all our system here, and then we're going to go into I think it's we have to go to security access. It says enter the login. Okay, so there's a couple of codes here to enter, so you can try either one of those. So we're going to try 31347. Okay. It says login code is accepted, so we're good there. Then we're going to go to adaptation. Find our main entry that we want. So we're going to scroll down. It's actually all the way at the bottom here. It's called ZV, comfort. And then it's going to give us a menu of all these different settings. So we're going to be looking for these 5 settings. So if we start from the bottom here, one of the settings is called, and I don't know how to pronounce these, but it's Menüsteuerung Comfort Bedienung Einstellbar or something like that. So it's right here, is the exact same one right here, and it's set to adjustable, which according to our sheet is what we want. And that's what we expected, because we already have this in the infotainment menu to turn on and off the comfort open and close that they do have activated. So that makes sense that would be there and adjustable already. So now we want to find the one that says Funk Comfort Offen, and so that one is for the radio comfort open, which I'm assuming is the one that's going to go with the key fob. So we're going to try to find that, and right here it is. It says Funk Comfort Offen, and you can see it's set to not active right now. So we're going to actually click on that and set it to active, and OK. So that's one that we've changed to active. And the next one we want to find is Funk Comfort Schließen, and again it's going to be somewhere probably close to this. I don't see it there. And right here it is, Funk Comfort Schließen, and we're going to make that active. Oh, that's cancel this. That's the wrong one. Make sure you're on the right entry, because I accidentally hit the one below it. So we want this one right here. So always make sure that the right entry is the one selected when the window comes up. Okay, and we're going to make this active. And click OK. So we've made 2 changes so far. The third change was already correct, so we don't have to worry about that. Now we're going to look for comfort open and comfort close and make sure those are active. So if I scroll up here, I can see comfort closing is already active. So that's the one that you saw before when I was doing the finger on the outside of the car and it was closing all the windows. So that one's already active. But now we want to also check the one called comfort open. So if we scroll up, there's a comfort opening here, and that one is not active. So we're going to change that to active and OK. So out of our 5 settings, 2 of them were already correct and 3 I had to change. But the nice part about this is I know exactly what I changed in here. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to hit this green check mark here, and then when you press and hold it, it says adaptation accepted, and that's it. So supposedly we have programmed this now for our car. So now what you want to do is test it out and see if it actually works. Now on some of these adaptations that you do, you have to go back into the menu in the infotainment system and reset it so that it pulls in the new programming into the module so it knows what to do. On this particular one, I don't think it's required, but what you can do is turn on the car and then check the menu and see what's in there. And so it should still be the same. So if we actually turn on the infotainment system here, and we're going to go to settings, actually we're going to go to car, and then settings, and then inside here, opening and closing, and convenient opening all windows. You can see there's off, driver, and all. That was there before, and that was that adaptation, the one that said adjustable. That was already set. So I think we should be good there. So we'll find out if this actually works. So we'll disconnect from the car, shut it off, and then give it a test. So let's see what happens. Okay, so first thing we're going to test is to make sure the comfort opening that was from before still works. So that was when you come in, you shut off the car, and you are you can actually roll down all the windows if you want to by just holding down the driver's side buttons. All the windows are opening right now. So all the windows open. So that part still works. Now, of course, before, when we hold the driver's side and hold it up, nothing happens because the car's shut off. But we're going to get out of the car here, and then we're going to test out our key fob to see if that helps. Okay, the second thing we're going to test is to make sure that the comfort closing that we had before by holding your finger on the door lock also works. So we're just going to hold our finger here, door locks, and all the windows are going up on the car right now. So that still works. So everything that we had before still works just like it did before. Okay. The difference is now we're going to try the key fob and we're going to see if that works. So we're going to hold down the unlock button, and all the windows are now going down on the car. And that was with the key fob. So now we're going to try the lock button, and all the windows are going up on the car. So success. Okay. So now we have total control over the windows with our key fob that we didn't have before, and all we had to do was change 3 of the settings that changed the hexadecimal bytes in that particular module, so that now we have radio control, and that's what they consider radio control with the key fob, of the windows. So all the stuff that we had before still works, but now in addition, we can control the windows up and down with the key fob. Okay. So you saw we made our changes, everything was successful. Now we have control over the windows with our key fob. But one thing I want to show you here is in the OBD11 app, if I go back to the car here on my main menu and you have all these choices, one of them is called history. And if you hit history, it will actually show you the what you just did. So you can see here, if I look at this closely, I went to Central Electrics, right? I went to the setting called Funk Comfort Schließen, and then my old value was not active, my new value is active. And so for what I changed, there's a history of it here. So there's Funk Comfort Öffnen, however you pronounce that. It was originally not active, and I changed it to active. And then Comfort Opening was the third setting I changed from not active to active. All right, and it puts the date and time at the bottom here. So what I would do is, and I'm not sure because I haven't used this app long, so I don't know how long it keeps this history. It's forever, or if you lose it or whatever it may be. But there are a couple of options here at the top, and one of them has a little email choice, and it says send history. So it looks like you can email the history to yourself, copy it to the clipboard, or possibly print it if you copy it to the clipboard, or whatever you want to do if you want to save it. So the history of what's going on here on the app itself. So on my sheet, basically what I'll do is I'll just make a note of the 3 things I had to change and the 3 things that I didn't change. So if I ever want to put it back to the way it was, I have a complete history and it's easy to do. Okay, so that's it. So if you follow the, and by the way, let me just show you something here. Not only does it tell you the control unit, but it tells you the area underneath that you're at. So this would be sort of what they call the channel, which in this case is ZV Comfort. A lot of the instructions out on the forums call it Access Control 2, which is not, you won't find that on your menu. So sometimes you have to search around and find out if it doesn't match what you find on the forum, because as they change the years of the car, some things change a little bit. So again, this is we are coding a 2018 Golf R Mark 7.5. So if you're doing a Mark 7.5 Golf R, you're going to go under ZV Comfort and make those setting changes. So I'm going to update my sheet here, and then I'm going to put it on my little video here so you can get an exact list of the settings you have to change if you have the exact same car as I do. So let me do that, and then we'll finish out the video. Okay, so here is a list of all the settings you'll have to do for the remote coding with the key fob on a 2018 Golf R 7.5. So I can't comment on anything below this vehicle, but in my vehicle, this is what you're going to see if you have the same car. So probably all 7.5 Golfs. So 2018 7.5 Golfs will have the same settings. But you're going to go into Central Electrics. You're going to go to Security Access. It's going to give you the code to type in. Then you're going to go to Adaptation. And here's the difference than what's posted on a lot of the forums and everything with the new 7.5s. You're going to go down to ZV Comfort, which is at the bottom of the list. Now once you're there, then you're going to see all these settings in there. So you're looking for these 5 specific settings: Comfort Opening, Comfort Close, the Funk Comfort Schließen, the Funk Comfort Öffnen, and then this long one, Menstörung Comfort, Bedienung Einstellbar, or whatever it is, which basically means the menu control. So the menu control should already be set to adjustable, so that would be okay. And then these 2 Funk Comforts will have to be set to active because they'll be inactive right now. And then the only other one you have to change is Comfort Opening to active. Comfort Close should already be set to active in your car. But if it's not, for whatever reason, obviously you're going to change these 4 to active and this one to adjustable if any of them are not. Then you just hold down the green check button in the app, and then you should see Adaptation Accepted. You do not have to reset the menu or anything in the infotainment on this particular setting. You can just disconnect your device, shut off the car, and then close the door and test it out, and it should all work. So as you saw in my video, both the original settings work, so closing it automatically with the Windows switch on the inside or from the handle on the outside. But in addition, the key fob also opens and closes them, which is awesome. So our first adaptation to sort of correct a little annoyance has been successfully implemented. implemented in the car, so we're good to go. So now, if anybody has the same exact car, obviously you can do the same thing, and you can use this exact sheet. This is a confirmation that this works on a 2018 Mark 7.5 Golf R. So thanks for watching this particular video, and I'll have a couple more coming up with some other coding options that we're going to change in the car.